Hello and welcome to the first ever Sundays in the studio, or whatever it is I'm going to eventually call this. I've been inspired by Megan Chapman. She's a lovely American artist living in Edinburgh, and when I went to Edinburgh recently I was lucky enough to meet her. She does a fabulous Tuesday studio visit. Maybe the name's even more complicated than that. But anyway, she does a lovely video, and that I'd like to do a video too, because I just think it's a great way of sharing what actually goes on in the studio, which, you know, is often wonderful, but sometimes isn't. So this is my first go. And one of the things I can show you right now is this little gem here, which is a painting of Megan's. I bought that when I was visiting her. It wasn't quite ready for her to send it to me, so it's only just turned up in the mail this week. It's actually backwards because I've got my phone flipped, but it's beautiful. It's very soft and atmospheric. It's actually called Where We Meet, which I think is the perfect name for it. So I'm in love with it. I've just hung it in my studio briefly today so I can show you. I thought I would start by showing you what's happening here before I start my painting, and then maybe we'll revisit it again after. The purpose of these videos is so that I can share my art with you and my thinking behind it, and you know why that's important to me. When I came back from my recent holiday, I was so full of ideas and inspiration, and yet it took me a long time to get back to the studio. It's taken me a long time to find where I'm going. In fact, I still haven't found where I'm going. It sort of left me, I think, half there and half here. So, and that's a difficult place to create from. And I think it's probably more common than I think. I think that perhaps other artists feel the same. When they've travelled, it's all very inspirational while you're over there, and you carry that back with you. But once you're back here, you're back in your home environment, and you know, things rapidly return to normal, which is not necessarily what you were hoping for. Anyway, I've got several boards on the go at once. This one here, I don't know what's happening with that one. I used some new drawing sticks on this one and on a couple of the others, and I was very disappointed with how they worked, so I'm gradually covering them over, which is part of the reason why I think I'm a bit lost. They didn't do what I expected, and yeah, I'm getting there. I'm working it out. So partly covering over, these two here have ended up looking very strange, and they've actually got quite a bit of texture to them, which I don't normally. I added some texture paste in with the paint to see what would happen, and yeah, it's happening. I'm just not sure what it is. Moving past Megan's beautiful painting, you can see her work on her website. I'll put all the links to Megan under this video. Luckily the drawing on that one is oil pastel, so I know how to handle that. There's a little bit of that other thing on there. I'm not sure what to do about that. These ones here on this side have some of that stick that I don't know what to do with on them. I'll cover those over today. Maybe I just cover them over. Maybe that's the best thing. And then I can sand back through them to reveal that history, but it won't be tying me to an original concept that I now can't deliver. You'll notice I've got a few round ones. I've got an idea for those, so stay tuned. Well, not today, but in a future one. Spots and stripes, you know, what can I say? They're a favourite. And I think that's it for the studio. The studio is looking pretty kind of half tidy and half messy. Boxes, supplies, but I haven't managed to bring myself to set it up the way I had it before, and I don't know why. So I think, you know, just talking about it today will help me. I'll get out my proper palettes and set them up properly and have a go again. and I'll pop back later in the day to tell you how it's going. Oh, that's another thing about these Sunday videos. They're not going to be all on Sunday. Today's not Sunday. Rather than stick myself to a schedule that I can't necessarily always meet, I would send them out on Sundays. Another quick entry into the Sunday studio whatever. I spent the time repainting the paintings that that were confusing me, and rediscovering one of my favourite tools of the past, which is something for drawing attached to the end of a stick. And I've gone through and drawn lines on most of these that I think are a way to progress with these. Hoping so. I've also done a fair bit of tidying up and organising for the next month. New month of Creating for Happiness starting on Sunday. And I've also spent some time with the studio dog. Hello. It's the end of another good day. So this week has been a turning point. I came home so inspired to paint from my holiday, and yet it just wasn't happening. And this morning it struck me that the thing I needed to do was just simply take the next step. And that's what I've done. I painted over some of the paintings that had the pastel on it, or the oil stick on it, that I didn't like. And I've restarted pretty much all of them again. I'm reasonably happy with them all. I haven't actually changed the spotty one because I really liked it, and I made the stripy one. I think there'll be a diptych, and I quite like the way it's going at the moment. My little ones are coming along. Very simple beginnings. I think I started a bit too excitedly initially. Another stripy one, and then we get into the weird section, which I don't really like. It's this one. There's bits of this one I don't mind. This one, I didn't know what to do with it, so I've done this. There, you had a quick look, that's all you get to see. I can drag it back, and I just needed to do something. As I said, I just needed to do this next step, and the next step happened to be cover it over. I hope you've had a good week too. Next week, new month starting in Creating for Happiness, which I think will be a nice one. And I'm also delivering a painting to the regional gallery in Port Macquarie for the Northern Exposure exhibition. That's about all. That's about all I've got planned. I'll be working on these as much as I can. We'll see you next Sunday.